we don't really do a lot of panels at Bitcoin++. No particular reason for that other than I'm lazy. But really excited to have some of the people here that are all working on sovereignty tech, particularly in the wallet space, joining us. Let's see, we've got Dan Gould, who's the executive director of the PayJoin Foundation, also founded the PayJoin project. Is that correct?
Well, I picked it up from its ashes. It burned down and we kept it going.
Well, that sounds like a story I want to hear. Okay, so we'll get into that. We've got Ava Chow here, who founded the PSBT specification, second most prolific BIP editor after Peter Willa. Hardware wallet interface was your project as well. Supposedly, long-time wallet maintainer for a small piece of software called Bitcoin Core.
Yeah.
Are you the longest running maintainer on the wallet piece?
No.
You want to hold it a little closer? Yeah.
The wallet had a maintainer before me, Mesh Collider. He did it for about 4 years.
And how long have you been working on the wallet?
I've been a maintainer for 3 years, I think. I have been working on the wallet for about 9.
Next to you is Alekos Filini, who now is the CEO and CTO of Portal Technologies, which is working on sovereign key management and identity management. But I knew you more famously as the creator of BDK.
Yeah, I hope at some point Portal will become more famous than BDK, but for the time being, I'm still known as the BDK guy. So yeah.
Which has its own foundation now.
Yeah. So we have a BDK foundation. I'm not involved with the development anymore, but I'm on the board of the foundation. So we manage basically donations and funds and fund the development of BDK, which just announced MetaMask actually. So yesterday MetaMask integrated BDK. So yeah,
that's huge.
Big
okay.
milestone, yeah.
So your code now runs in everyone's browsers. Maybe no one here, because I'm sure no one here uses MetaMask, but
shitcoiners browsers, yeah.
Congrats, that's huge. And then you guys are going to have to share mics, sorry. We have Nick Farrow here, who started as, I think, Lloyd's intern, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
And now are working on FrostSnap technology, which is pioneering Frost for users, accessible user Frost signatures.
Yeah, exactly. Make multi-sig easy, get your life savings outside of your home, yeah.
Cool. Great. Well, thanks guys for coming. Maybe we could start with why wallets? All of you working on wallet tech or things that help people hold their Bitcoin in some aspect or another. Why? There's a lot of things you could work on in the world, Bitcoin or otherwise. Why is building tools for safeguarding Bitcoin something that you guys decided was important to work on?
You want me to start? Okay. So wallets specifically, I started working on in 2018, and then I realized working on a wallet is so stupidly hard and not rewarding that I went to more systems protocol design stuff. The reason to work on it is because the opportunity space is huge. There are only so many wallets, there are only so many people working on Bitcoin, and there are so many problems and things that I see we can solve. So that's definitely the most attractive thing about the space to me. And then more recently, working on the dev kit, being able to integrate with a bunch of different wallets just seemed like a higher leverage thing to do.
So you don't develop a wallet directly these days. You're building kind of a piece of underlying infrastructure that now other wallet builders use and integrate with.
Yes. Yeah. So we are split into sort of 3 main things. We do integrations, research, and then core API protocol design or development. And integrations tends to be the thing that, I don't know, it's the most businessy. It involves relationship building, and you're in these code bases that are not thinking about how to integrate new protocols. They probably don't have the same testing quality assurance standards you're used to, but you have to
Don't tell
make
me
that
that.
work.
Okay.
Well, the good thing is the underlying libraries that everyone's using, like BDK, do have those standards. So
Thank you.
Even though people build piles of treasure on top of them, they, the core stuff, the really difficult stuff, is handled right now, thanks to the dev kits have been around for between 3 and 5 years now, really, in the mainstream.
If we can go out of order, I wanted to tie into what Dan was saying. The reason why I started BDK is exactly because working on a wallet is very, very complicated. And at the time when kind of the idea started taking shape, I was working at Blockstream on the Green wallet, which is quite an old wallet. It was like a pioneer in many areas. Like it was one of the first to adopt BIP39. It existed pre-BIP39, I think even pre-BIP32 probably. So basically the code for Green is a mess of retrocompatibility because they don't want to leave users out. And that was what kind of made me think about, can we make this better? Can we make something that's generalized and that can be reused for older stuff and newer stuff without having to have so many like edge cases and special rules? So that's basically why BDK started as an idea and then as a project.
Speaking of wallets that predate BIP39 and BIP32, so like the reason I started working on the Bitcoin Core wallet, so I used to use this wallet called Bitcoin Armory, which by the time I started using it was actually basically unmaintained. It's one guy who works on it, and it doesn't seem like he has that much time to work on it. And Armory used Bitcoin Core in the background, and then like the first major changes I made was I updated Bitcoin Core, and that broke Armory, right? So what I ended up doing was I fixed Armory, and then I went to Bitcoin Core to see like, what were they doing, and then keep an eye on Bitcoin Core so that Armory could not be broken like that in the future. But because Armory was less maintained, I started working on Bitcoin Core more. And the reason to work on wallets for me is like wallets are the thing that if you are using Bitcoin, you are interacting with a wallet. The wallet is the front-end interface for using Bitcoin, and I think it's really important that, if we want people to use Bitcoin, that wallets are functional.
I love this analogy. I don't think people talk about it enough. Like a wallet is to Bitcoin as the web browser is to the web.
There's an interesting thing at the moment where, and especially for us, if you want to do something novel, in Bitcoin, say you're making a new hardware wallet that uses Frost, well, it's kind of hard to plug that into an existing wallet, so you actually have to make your own wallet sort of out of necessity. So that's what we've done. In the early days, we were looking at, maybe we can fork Sparrow and get our FrostSnap hardware wallets working with Sparrow. But we decided, no, we'll make our own wallet with a nice user experience that's sort of really tailored towards the thing we were building. And I think if you look at all the different wallets across Bitcoin, you'll see that sort of a pattern that people will make your wallet to solve a particular problem that they need to make a wallet that does a particular thing. There's no sort of generic wallet that we can have sort of plugins and things at the moment. It's sort of people build their own wallet to achieve their goals.
What would you guys? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I just said hopefully they do with BDK. Yeah. So just build a UI wrapper on BDK.
Okay, so how many of the people on stage use BDK as the thing that you're building on? One guy, are you guys on top of BDK? No.
A lot of what we interface is BDK, so like Bull Bitcoin uses BDK, so we've done integrations with BDK. We have an integration with the BDK CLI testing tool, and a lot of the other integrations coming down the pike are also BDK. I hope we can ship PayJoin as like alongside BDK with a feature, but it's not there yet, and it is not really necessary. It's more of an ease of use thing. People say, oh, this is vetted by BDK, I take this off the shelf, it must be good, versus even though PayJoin is kind of an unrelated thing, that's a tangent, or it's independent. If people have to scratch their head and think, do I trust this, it's harder.
We can talk about a price for this. happy to discuss.
I'm sorry, a price for this?
To integrate it directly in our code base. Yeah. Sure.
Great. This is business development, right? Happening.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So whenever you're I guess here's a question. Whenever you guys are thinking about user experience of a wallet, what you think is the most important thing for a wallet developer to work on or build these days? Number one thing for user experience for a Bitcoin wallet, we just said it's the browser is to the web as a Bitcoin wallet is to Bitcoin. What should users look for in a wallet, maybe?
I think the title of the conference and the panel is the most important thing I look for. The sovereignty, the ability to interface with the Bitcoin network at your discretion, making choices on where you want to involve third parties. And sometimes that's a matter of just choosing a wallet that makes the trade-offs you want, but they need to at least be transparent. I think the most common wallet in the world, if not just on the US App Store, is Trust Wallet, where you're just putting, I don't know who
trust
runs
is in
this.
their name.
Yeah, trust is in the name, but I think it's just a custodial wallet that reuses addresses. Is it self-custodial? If it's self-custodial, it's still just reusing addresses every single time. This is ancient technology we've gone beyond, and making sure they're, keeping up to date, not even necessarily with the absolute latest features, but just with security fixes, not reusing addresses. It's really important for sovereignty that you have a way to validate the node that doesn't strictly depend on someone else. If you're using Electrum, you should be able to, if not use your own node, at least have the actual protocol where you're not revealing your xpubs, the basic things. You have more to.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I've been saying for a very long time is that user education is never the solution, and you can, the world will always invent a dumber user. So what you really, at least for me, what we kind of want to do is we want to make something where that works for the lowest common denominator, but also provides all of the privacy and all of the security that everyone here understands that users should have, but the users don't necessarily understand that they should have, right? So Trust Wallet is apparently the most widely used wallet because it's really easy to use. So it should then be kind of a goal to make a wallet that has all of the good security, all of the good privacy things, that is also just as easy to use so that people can use that wallet instead of Trust Wallet.
I personally don't actually have a really good answer about this because at BDK, we don't really spend all that much time thinking about the user interface kind of thing. So BDK is a developer tool, so we think about the developer's interface. So we want to give the best, want to basically give access to everything in an easy, safe way to developers so that they can then build stuff for users ultimately. So yeah, I just don't have an answer for. Our focus is more on providing a quality developer experience with BDK, not the user experience.
Yeah, we also look at usability is a big one for us. Obviously, especially just making multi-sig easy, not having to deal with xpubs and loading loading descriptors and different types of hardware, just making everything nice and streamlined. Another sort of aspect that we're really trying to maximize in FrostSnap is especially in terms of sovereignty, is the don't trust, verify aspect of a wallet. And we're doing this through the use of cryptography. So not needing to do crazy things like rolling dice to generate your seed phrase, not needing to verify that conversion of dice rolls to seed words on a separate device, and then conversion of your seed phrase to xpubs. In FrostSnap, we do all this using cryptography, which means for the user experience, all you need to do is just check that a security code after key generation matches on each device, and you can have certainty that everyone has participated honestly, and you've got a genuinely random private key.
So one thing that I struggle with as a user of wallets is interoperability. So like if I have my Bitcoin on one wallet, I want to be able to like, I think of sovereignty. It's, we talked kind of at the opening of the conference about the ability to like run software on your own machine and like modify it, change it, import it to different machines, distribute it. I think with software, Bitcoin wallets, for me, like portability is a big thing. So if I have my coins and I can see them on one wallet, my ability to like move to a different wallet and still be able to like find my coins and have like a high confidence that that's something I can do is really important to me, especially because like I think one thing we've kind of brought out here is that wallets get unmaintained, people work on projects for a while and then it falls off. So where do you guys think about in terms of like portability of wallets? Is that something your projects are like focused on?
Yeah, so I think this one's especially applicable to us because we're making new hardware wallet with a new backup format, and so because we're the first to do that, we're going to have to we'll have to wait a few months for people to catch up and build a Frost wallet that is compatible with our system. But in the meantime, before we get to that point in time, we sort of have an emergency escape hatch where you can take 2 FrostNAP backups and combine them into a xpriv that you could load into Bitcoin Core or load into Sparrow.
So the neat thing is, if you write a BIP, you invent compatibility.
Ava's convinced us to write a BIP.
Ava, you've worked on a lot of wallet kind of interoperability standards and protocols. Where would you say like the state of wallet interoperability is today? Do you have any like opinions on this?
It's a lot better than it used to be, especially with descriptors now. So it used to be and it still is, but it used to be also. But it used to be more prevalent where you would, if you imported like a seed into a new wallet, you might get a completely different set of addresses because they use different derivation paths. Some wallets also didn't support the same, generating the same address types. So that was a whole problem. And like that's also why descriptors exist. It tells you exactly what address type to create and the derivation paths to derive your keys from. And since wallets have been picking up descriptors and it's more widely used, that has, I think, really improved the interoperability. Similar thing with PSBTs. Back in the day, every single wallet that supported unsigned transactions had their own unsigned transaction format. All of them were basically not documented. You wanted to sign something with Bitcoin Core and sign with Electrum? Get fucked.
Well, and related to this PSBT spec specifically, I've seen a lot of people building wallets are now aware and interested of this interoperability thing. Like building interactive protocols, everyone's like, okay, we need to make sure this whatever standard we use for unsigned transactions, whatever protocol we use, is going to be able to be adapted to wallets, because I think the wallets have become more like application specific, like in the case of taking your keys out of your home, or like Liana with inheritance, or some of the Lightning wallets for payments. I think everyone wants that. Everyone wants the similar features, the common protocols, and they realize they've seen people silo themselves and become less relevant. And having the standards process in the wallets, I think culturally has changed quite a bit.
Generally having a specification, it creates a shelling point, right? That everyone can see and be like, oh, that seems like a good idea, I should do that, instead of reinventing the wheel. So you should write a BIP.
A nice thing of having this sort of interoperability, especially with PSBTs, is that for someone like our team who, we want to focus on building the Frost stuff out. We don't necessarily want to be implementing things like coin control and other features. So what we can we can say to users, okay, if you want these advanced features, you can export your descriptor to Sparrow, You can build your transactions and do coin control in Farrow, and then take the PSBT back to FrostNap and sign it there. So it's also nice that you can sort of use it to sort of almost offload features onto other wallets.
Yeah, I think one thing that's definitely happening in terms of interoperability is wallets kind of specializing on a specific phase almost of the whole flow. So with interoperability, then you can have signers that are just dedicated to signing, and we've had hardware wallets for a while, but now with PSBT it's very easy to pretty much any hardware wallet can sign any transaction coming from any wallet. And instead, before it used to be like not really proprietary, but you need to integrate Ledger's specific library and then Trezor's specific library, and it's a bit of a mess. So now that we have interoperability, not just in terms of moving your BIP39 mnemonic, but also having your BIP39 mnemonic on one device and then another device for coin control and then another device or another piece of software for monitoring the blockchain. This kind of enables, I don't know, connecting blocks together, which is really cool, and lets each block specialize on one specific thing. Even though in terms of usability and user experience, like the average user probably wants everything in one bundle together, but advanced users now have the ability to, I don't know, customize the pipeline almost in a way.
What's missing in the wallet specification ecosystem right now, in y'all's opinion?
I think synchronization, like validation in a private manner, is the biggest thing that's missing. So everyone just, yay. Just, I mean, yes, we have some Electrum support now, but as Evan talked about, there's like 5 different standards, and you're still revealing your IP address. It's going to be possible within 10 years to run the node on the phone. We're going to have 6G. We're just going to have more bandwidth. It's going to be possible, I think. And we can do simple things like oblivious HTTP or oblivious network protocols to improve the privacy of that stuff. I think that's going to be even a 2026 big change.
What does synchronization mean?
Oh, so you need to get the state of your wallet. What coins do you actually have when you look at the chain? What clusters of money are relevant to you and who you've interacted with? If you're just asking a counterparty for this, then they could be lying to you. And they might even give you information that makes you take some action so you lose money. But I think the most basic problem is just that you're revealing your money to someone else when you're outsourcing validation, synchronization.
And this was like a problem with like maybe Neutrino fixed it, but like a lot of the initial, or like what do they call them? SPVs is the...
Yeah. Simple payment validation, verification?
Simplified payment validation. And I don't think we've ever truly had SPV.
Didn't we have SPV in like Bread Wallet?
It's not real SPV.
What is real SPV maybe? So we're talking about like
white paper.
Like light clients.
The white
here,
paper
right?
is wrong.
That's true on more than one front, yeah.
I can remember one use case of SPV, which was to double check what a server is giving you. So for example, Green Wallet, I think used to support, now they probably removed it. They had their own, like you get stuff from Blockstream server, but then you can use SPV to validate against your own node. So that's maybe one use case. But yeah, just full SPV is not safe. So
I think like real SPV is if you can get this information, from a node about your wallet without the possibility of that node lying to you. And I don't think there's ever been an SPV protocol that like enables that does that at all. Because even with so the old BIP37 thing, that was the first thing called SPV, I think.
Bloom
that was
filters,
Bloom
yeah.
filters. The node could just lie and not tell you about transactions. Neutrino, you get the block filters. I guess but is that? It's a lot more bandwidth, and I don't know if it's necessarily simplified.
just PV.
Yeah, you're gonna get the block anyways, and then you validate that the block hash is correct and all the other things in there. Maybe Neutrino counts as SPV. I don't know, but yeah, it has its trade-offs. It's a lot of bandwidth. It is kind of a lot of compute, I think.
More than Electrum for sure.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody's using Electrum.
Neutrino? Well, I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while.
I think one of the reasons these things haven't been used before is because there weren't libraries for them either. Like Wasabi had compact block filters that were slightly off of BIP, but again, it's like application specific. So their users had it, but it wasn't for everyone. And Neutrino, the specific implementation in LND, like they could use it, but not anyone else. But now I think Station Rob's been working on Kyoto, so we actually have a Rust library with bindings that everyone can use. So maybe these things can actually have a chance in the market now, but they have limitations. They use more bandwidth than just asking a server, what about this address?
I think something that is missing from wallets at the moment is widespread privacy tools, and that's why it's really exciting what Dan's working on with PayJoinDevKit. And it's good how much Lightning usage is out there. Pretty good for privacy, but I think we're in an unfortunate situation at the moment where, with the terrible situation with Samurai, Free Samurai, we really have lost a lot of accessible and widespread privacy tools at the moment. And things like Cashew and Fedimint are also helping with that, which is really cool to see, but the usage of them is not really widespread at the moment.
I think oracles are missing too. That's a huge thing to unlock a lot of programmability. There's like no company that's running an oracle, and I don't know if there's any way. I don't know, the DLC companies running their own oracles was something that got talked about this week, but I think that Bitcoin doesn't have something like Polymarket because this oracle thing doesn't exist yet. It's a huge opportunity.
So we're missing synchronability, synchronization, DLCs, privacy, anything else that you think like on the standard side, it's like, okay, we really could use this object to make.
I mean, I wouldn't say, I don't have a solution, but I think a problem is backups, like managing backups. That's because if you want to go on the user-friendly side, even writing down a mnemonic is a lot, I think, for some people. Like, especially if you have no idea what Bitcoin is and you want to mimic the user experience of like a bank account or whatever. You don't have to write down a mnemonic. You don't have to keep that thing safe. You don't have all of these issues. So in terms of problems that I think kind of we need to solve is better backups, which can mean a lot of things. But that's probably one of the biggest not really obstacles, but one of the biggest thing that throws people off when you onboard them into Bitcoin. Yeah.
I was going to say, I completely agree. Backups it's a massive UX pain. Writing them down, where do you keep them? Loading them back in, typing things onto a keyboard on a hardware wallet. It's really painful, and it's just, unfortunately, we haven't come up with a better solution at the moment. So we're sort of all storing these 12, 24 words, or 25 in the case of FrostSnap, out of necessity, but it'd be really nice to have some, other mediums of storing that information in a much more user-friendly way while keeping similar properties of, portability and ease of use.
Can I say maybe super controversial take, but maybe people are too paranoid in general, but especially about backups. Like people that generate keys with dice, that's, to me, it's crazy. But I mean, I understand being paranoid, but yeah, I think people tend to come up with super complicated setups, while maybe, like realistically, for the average user that has few hundred Ks, few $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, you can just save them on your smartphone. Like maybe you get access to the secure element of your smartphone. I would trust the enclave on my iPhone with, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars easily. So yeah, maybe people just get to.
Does anyone have a wrench?
I mean, then it's a different, obviously. In terms of hardware, I would trust the security of the hardware. Then maybe working around with that is not not ideal. That's a separate story. But yeah, people are coming up with super complicated schemes just because maybe this device is bugged, or I don't know. I think people tend to overdo it. This is my controversial take.
I would agree. Codex 32 is very cool. I know its market is exactly 2 people.
This is literally paper calculators that Andrew Polstra came up with. You take
Can you
3
explain?
Dials to generate
Explain for the audience.
keys and addresses.
You use dice rolls to generate your keys, and then you have the paper calculators to encode them into Best32, and then you can. It's really easy to fuck it up. There's a checksum. Yeah, you mess up the checksum, you have to redo the whole thing.
You have to really like a pencil and a piece of graph paper.
So Polstra said he can do it in 8 hours or something.
But he could.
I think he said 40 minutes. No.
Is it sign a
40 minutes? Okay, I don't
transaction in
remember.
8 hours?
So the neat part about Codex 32 is that you can't do any EC math, so you can't generate your addresses. You generate the private key. You can't get the public keys. You can't sign. So you still have to put it into a computer. And it's really cool, but its market is literally Polstra and Russell.
Maybe some bored middle schoolers.
Those are some very smart middle schoolers.
Codex 32 is this scheme for. Is it basically the idea that you're gonna pick private keys offline completely, and then you're gonna. What do you use the Codex 32 to do?
You make private keys using a provably random algorithm, so you can use biased dice, biased whatever, and you're still guaranteed to get provably random bits for your private key, and then that's the first part of it. Then there's encoding it into Best32 things. So there's checksums, and then there's a part that's splitting that into different shares to use Shamir secret sharing in order to have a split backup. It's very overkill.
I would say, going back to what I was saying before, the way I would explain it is, I think we all have on our smartphones sensitive stuff that would be worth to us more than $1,000. If you had somebody hack into your phone and leak all your data, the $5,000 of Bitcoin being stolen would be probably the least of your worry, at least in my opinion. So unless you're very, very good and very paranoid about texts and messages and emails and stuff as well, which most people aren't. So going back to my argument, kind of to explain it, argument it better, is just maybe people shouldn't focus so much on Bitcoin. It's a whole problem of securing your digital life.
I have a slightly hotter take also. I think encrypting wallets has probably lost more Bitcoin than actually prevented Bitcoin from being stolen.
I would agree with that. Yeah, people making treasure trails, especially for inheritance.
Yeah.
It's a complete mess out there. Yeah.
What % of Bitcoin do you guys think is lost to the encrypted wallet backup?
Well, the fun part is you can't measure it.
So we talked about some people. So I think there's a general consensus on the panel that people are making some of their self-custody setups, they're overkill on some aspects. What do you think are some things that people maybe aren't paying enough attention to that they probably should be investing more time and effort into tools?
Oh, easy. Definitely who they're leaking their clusters to. If you're sending partial coins to people and doing consolidations without paying attention, which everyone's doing, you're making quite a big target for your counterparties to know how much Bitcoin you have, who you've interacted with, sent or received, both in the past and potentially even in the future, past the time you send the money.
I think building on that, more generally, the actually using Bitcoin as money part, spending Bitcoin, sending it to other people. I think there hasn't been, or it feels like there hasn't been that much focus on that. If you think about things like coin selection algorithms, and most users are never going to think of this, is my coin selection algorithm actually doing things optimally where it will save me on fees, or is it doing things suboptimally where, like, after 50 transactions, all of my coins actually have been ground to dust. And these are things that, and also like privacy. Are we choosing coins in a way that preserves privacy? So like, I think like the whole part about actually using Bitcoin as a money is kind of underlooked.
So I agree with both, and I would also say privacy in general people tend to overlook. But also another potentially controversial take, I think there's too many people that try to be technical, but they are not, and so they end up just kind of blindly following guides online, which is crazy to me. So like, just to give you an example, it's like, I set up my own node and I have my own Electrum and I have my own, so that's good for privacy. But the way they set it up is just like copy pasting stuff from a guide. They don't understand, they don't know what's going on. So I would say maybe it's like, I don't know what's the answer. Maybe it's education, like, and making people understand that okay, you want privacy, but before you follow steps blindly, also you should learn about what you're doing. So I think there's lack of awareness there, where again people are super paranoid. So they get sold the idea that in order to be private, you need your own node. You need to, which is true. I mean, it definitely helps, but there's one missing step, which is learn what you're doing, learn basic kind of Linux skills, because lots of people also, maybe they can get it set up, but then they cannot maintain it, and then they don't apply patches, and then, so there's lots of ways they can, or maybe they encrypt stuff and then they cannot decrypt it anymore. So there's also ways in which people, again, lose money by kind of overcomplicating because of fear of something that's probably fine, or at least I would say, if you had to pick between the two, just pick something that works rather than complicating your own life. I don't know.
Another thing that's missing in terms of Bitcoin as money that I want to recruit everyone in this room to solve for me is the like multi-signature treasuries. I think we're seeing far more Bitcoin operationalized in foundations, for example, and it's such a pain to be sending emails and signal messages and manually moving PSBTs, and like, I just want my accountant to, for payroll, just like press a button that's we're doing payroll, and then everyone gets a notification. It could be on their phone, and they just plug in hardware, or even if there's enough signatures.
You're talking about FrostNet, Dan?
Maybe. The accounting software is the important piece. Like, we need a command and control, and then the notifications, right?
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. So we, for quite a while now at FrostNet, we've been thinking, our system directly maps onto organizational custody of Bitcoin. Securing your Bitcoin within a Bitcoin company or Bitcoin charity, Bitcoin organization. But to start out with, we've decided to focus on the individual aspect. That's what we know best, holding Bitcoin and spending Bitcoin as Bitcoiners. But eventually, I would really, in the future, it would be really awesome to have like an organizational suite that sort of does your accounting, does your sort of organizational hierarchy, has all that tooling in there to manage Bitcoin within a business. Yeah.
Another thing that's really useful that exists a little bit now is, I mentioned oracles, but like co-signers, to have a third party that's somewhat trusted to sign up to a certain threshold or something, or even a way to, to deputize maybe your accountant to do some of that, could make the whole thing so much easier. I'm complaining about this because this is like a very personal problem of once a month I have to pay people, and it's a massive pain.
Yeah. So speaking of, this is a developer conference. If there's a developer out there who's like, I want to start building a wallet or contributing to wallet technology, do you guys have any advice or maybe things to watch out for when they're getting started, or maybe tools to use, that kind of thing?
Use BDK, definitely.
Check out the Chain Code Boss program. It's very cool.
Bosschallenge.xyz.
I would also say use BDK. It's really, really good. It's made our life so much easier, just not having to re-implement everything from scratch. It's fantastic.
And ask for help. I think it's really easy to just stay in your own lane and be worried about asking for help, but almost every single time I've asked for help, people are eager to help if you have good intentions, and especially as you build a track record of, being an adult, getting stuff done, treating people pleasantly.
Where's a good place to ask for help?
Direct to the source. If you can DM someone, if you can send someone an email, I think that's really valuable. More generally,
Can do GitHub.
I don't know.
Is there GitHub discussions or something? Is that, I don't know.
It depends on the project. GitHub issues sometimes or discussions. For Bitcoin Core, we have IRC. I understand IRC is hard to use. Sorry.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Email also always works. I have definitely I receive emails from people asking me questions, want to get started with Bitcoin Core or whatever, and I'm always happy to help. Just don't be annoying.
All right, we have 2 minutes left. Do you guys have any last remarks, pitches for your projects, maybe where people can find you on socials to ask for help? Nick, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. Frost snaps are now available for order, so you can go to frostsnap.com and get yourself some new, super secure hardware wallets, cutting edge of Bitcoin technology. They're super fun, super beautiful looking devices. Purchase some Frost snap devices and support the work we're doing to make Bitcoin self-custody easier and more usable for people. Yeah, thank you.
I would say for BTK, bitcoindevkit.org. That's kind of the main website. You can find the Discord link as well. So feel free to go into Discord and ask for help, whatever questions you have. I would also add, don't come asking for help from me, because I haven't been working on BTK for a couple of years now. So the code has evolved so much, and also I want to give a shout out to all the people that are still working on BTK. I think they're doing an amazing job and onboarding so many companies. That means I don't know anything about BTK anymore. So don't ask me for help. I'll just redirect you to Discord. But if you go into Discord, you'll find people who actually know what they're doing. So yeah, bitcoindevkit.org. A portal, that's a separate discussion. That's a long story. Portal, our website is getportal.cc if you want to take a look, but it's not a wallet, so it's a kind of a different target.
I guess while we're all shilling up here, I'm Chow 101 everywhere. I stream on Twitch and I do coding streams. So if you want to learn how Bitcoin Core works internally, you can come watch me every Monday lose my mind over code review usually. And also I do sometimes write code for the Bitcoin Core wallet there.
Payjoin.org to find all things Payjoin. There's a Discord there. There's the GitHub. There's a Zulip even. Profane. I'm going to shill the bosschallenge.xyz once more. The applications close on the 31st, so it's really important you put some information there. They set you up, spend a few months learning how contributing to Bitcoin works, and at the end they funnel you towards the grant giving organizations, which also, if you want to support Payjoin Foundation or BTK Foundation, we could use your support. Yeah, that support is welcome. The only reason we can do this is because we have support from generous community like yourselves and our teams. If they're watching, yeah, they're really doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes.
Can I share one more thing? Come to btcplusplus. The best conferences, best people. You learn the most stuff. It's fantastic. It's a really, really great conference to, meet the technical side of Bitcoin and get involved. Great hackathon yesterday as well.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for your time, y'all. And thank you, y'all, for coming.